for being here. Robin made a good point last week. She told me, hang on, I'm having some technical difficulties this morning, so give me a moment. I'm actually not where in my usual space, which is kind of cool. Another lesson in being flexible, huh? Hey, Stacy, thanks for being here. Welcome to Wednesday Wisdom Live. I'm so grateful you all are here today. I'm going to wait a little while because I had some technical difficulties. And I've also learned, this is our, I don't know, gosh. Oh, thank you. Love that picture up. Can you see it? It's a double heart. Anyone that knows me knows I love hearts and I love purple forever. That's not a new thing. And happy Stacy. So if I'm looking at two places, hey Karen, thanks for being here. It's because I am trying once again. I'm a writer, I'm not a techie person, so I am trying to, hey there Ann, thanks for being here. I'm trying to do Facebook and Instagram together, so forgive me if you see my head bopping back and forth. I'm not watching a tennis match or ping pong, and I'm fully present with you all. Hey Julia, so I just want to wait till a few more people come on. If any of you have, hi Lori, hi Karen, Pam Gourmet, welcome to Wednesday Wisdom. I'm so grateful you're here. Today we're talking about motherhood, but I want to set the tone. It's not just in traditional sense. I'll be posting my weekly blog tomorrow, sending it to all of you who subscribe, and you'll see it as well on Facebook as always. And thanks, Lori. I'm commenting on the comments. What I realize now, my friend Robin, who's here, very wisely gave me some good feedback, which is, it's frustrating because I want to see your faces and hear you. Hi, Rick says, thanks for being here. Hey, Nick. Hey, Julia. I wish I could see your faces, so I'm working on different ways. You know, I have a podcast, but that's more one-on-one. I'm releasing a new one actually Monday that I think will be very, very salient and relevant for the time we're in and us as moms. So you'll hear me say this a few times today. I've learned that people jump on and off at different times, and today's message, which is really important, is motherhood and mothering. First of all, I think mother is a noun, a verb. I think it's a complete sentence. That was today's Wednesday Wisdom quote that I put out there. There are people that have lost their sons and daughters. I feel that we are mother in many different ways. Someone very, very dear to me is my aunt. She's like a mother to me, actually. I wanted to honor her today. My Aunt Lori, she gave me this. She also loves hearts. Like Lori Samuels, she's an artist. And she gave me this years ago. It sits in my writing office because it's such a beautiful reminder of her heart and a reminder of her love. And she doesn't have children. She's like a mother to me. My own mother is great. But we're also mothers to fur babies, right? How many of you have dogs? I know Nikki has 2. I have 2. And then the act of mothering, meaning you don't have to biologically have children to be a mother. I feel so strongly about this. I'd like you to comment, engage. Again, this is not about me just talking. Hey, Daniel. It's about hearing from you. I'd love to hear your opinions, your experiences. Hey, Jeff. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you're here. Lots of new people. Hey, Ann. So it's very important that you understand and hear me, I hope, that today we're not just talking about a mother in a traditional sense. There are many of us that may have Marlene. Okay, like amazing mom. So her twins and my son are very, very close. Her boys are like family to me. So Marlene, Ann, anyone that just jumped on, Jeff, today we're talking about, it is my opinion and my experience as well, that the word mother is a complete sentence. It's a noun, it's a verb, it's an adjective. There are many women I know that didn't have children, whether by choice or by chance, and I've been blessed that in different ways they've mothered me and others. As a writer, any other artists out there, you know, our work, those are our children as well. So I feel that when I write and I'm creating, that's birthing in a metaphorical sense a baby, right? So to me, my writing. I have got 2 children. I'm so grateful for every single moment. They are truly, oh my gosh, a really, really dear friend of mine just joined. Oh my gosh, hey Fitz. Oh, hi. Hey Alona. Okay, a lot of my village is on here. Thank you. I have some friends that took some time out. You all are working full time and you took a moment to jump on, and that's such a gift. Thank you so much. I'm really, really, really grateful. I'm so grateful you're in my life. I'm blessed with everything I learned from each of you, friends and colleagues and strangers. I hope strangers engage. Today we're talking about that mother is a complete sentence. So to mother, mothering. You don't have to have children biologically. You could have an adopted child. You can have a cat or a dog or a pet horse or pig or whatever. And what I was talking about before is that to mother is also what we create. So Fitz, for instance, is an amazing doctor. I believe you're in Atlanta now, Fitz. Julia is a trainer. I would imagine he considers his patients, and when I practice speech therapy, I also thought of my children as Mother, exactly right, Mother Earth. Stacy talked about Mother Earth. That's in my blog tomorrow, Stacy. Exactly, Mother Earth. Mother has such depth of purpose and meaning. It's multifaceted. It has so much more than just birthing a baby through our canal. Sorry, guys. But I feel, and in my personal experience, thanks, Alona. I feel so strongly about, it's so easy to get stuck on who has kids and who doesn't. And there's a lot of hurt there. I have really dear friends that went through some really, really difficult times with fertility and having children. I have friends that could never conceive. And conception, birth, the act of mothering, I feel so much more inclusive. Hey, Jim, is so much more inclusive than just having a child. And I'm not taking it away from those of us that have been blessed to have children, but for some people, having kids wasn't in the cards for them. For some people, mothering is mentoring. I have some dear friends, younger and older. We learn from everybody in our world. And yes, mother's typically used in a feminine sense, but I don't see why a male couldn't be mother as well. I've got some amazingly close, beautiful souls that, I don't know where he is right now. I hope he jumps on because he always spices it up. But I have some friends who are husband and partner, and there's mothering there too. So I don't look at mother as simply gender. Thanks, Karen. Thank you so much. Hope to see you again. To me, mother is not just the feminine. Hey, I'm so glad you joined. Hey, thank you so much. We're talking today about mothering, dogs, cats, mothering ourselves. Have any of you had times in your life where you need to mother yourself? I have, especially in recent years. You know, as we grow, whether it's through parenting, through marriage, through other ways, we start to realize the parts of us, whether it's wounds, whether it's unresolved issues, whether it's just simply personal growth in which we need mothering. And sometimes, and as often as we get older, it's not up to our moms to do that. I believe we need to mother ourselves too, and that's a really hard lesson to learn, at least for me it's been. And that takes a lot of honesty. It takes a lot of discernment. It takes self-reflection. So this global sense of mothering, to me, is not just biologic. I want to read something to you today. I was thinking about reposting it tomorrow, but I wrote something else. There's somebody very, very special to me. And quite frankly, she's not here anymore, although I have a hard time not talking about her in the present tense. So I'd like to pull something up that I wrote this time last year. And it's really important that you get to know this very special soul, because without her, my husband wouldn't be here. It's my husband's mother. She left suddenly in an accident 6 months before our wedding. And there is not a day that goes by that I don't think of her. I'd like to honor her today as well. I was blessed to know her for a very short 18 months, but none of the grandkids knew her. none of the other kids in my husband's family that got married. We got married first out of a big family. And she was also a creator, Stacy. She was an interior designer. Everything about her was about beauty, and not in a materialistic sense, in a beautiful, loving, kind. She was mother. And what I mean, she was mother to many. I felt she was a mother to me the moment I met her at 23 years old. And last year, I wanted to do something very meaningful. Not that we don't always want to do something meaningful. That's a silly thing. Meaning is one of the biggest purposes of Every Soul Has a Story. Hey, Rachel, gosh, another part of my village just showed up and took time out. She's working full time as well. Thank you for being here, Rachel. So I've never done this, but her name is Terry. I'm going to try and read this to you without crying, and if I cry, it's all... And Robin just put a rainbow. I do want to explain the rainbow. Oh my gosh, Shelly's here. Shelly, you just popped in at a very special time. Just to catch you all up, we're talking about motherhood today. That mothering, it's a complete sentence. It's a noun, it's a verb, it's an adjective. It applies to Mother Earth. It applies to mothering animals. And I'm so blessed. I have several people in my life that have mothered me in addition to my own mother. My grandmothers, my husband's grandmother, Pearl, who was and is truly a mother to me. And I still say is because she's become part of my entire being. So we started talking about Terry, my husband's mother, who I only knew, like I said, for 18 months, but I'm so lucky. She was almost had the naivete, the rawness, the vulnerability of a little girl. And what I mean by that, it's a compliment. It's something I work on because I don't have that. I'm very guarded. Even doing this has been hard for me. I know Stacy rather, as a writer and all creators, it's vulnerable. It's scary as heck to put your work out there. And I'm learning more and more that to put ourselves out there in an authentic way means sharing from here, not just here. So I'm doing that through my writing, podcast, and now connecting live with you. I also just started a YouTube channel. You can see my nature meditation videos on there. I've been doing that for years, and my husband's always encouraged me, do something with this. Literally, I think like 2 decades, right, honey? So I hope you'll find some soothing messages in there through nature, and you can check that out. It's also Every Soul Has a Story. So I'm looking up what I wrote last year, and I'd like to read it to you. So Terry was not my mother, but she was mother to me. And I knew at the moment I met her, again, not biologic. I wasn't even married yet. We were engaged. We experienced this horrible tragedy. You want to do my meditations? Check it out, Lori. Nothing formal, just a lot of love. I'm trying to find it here. Give me one moment. And I really want to read it to you. It feels important today. I feel her a lot during this time. She appears often in rainbows. That's the reason there's a rainbow on my website. I will tell that story. Maybe we'll talk about it next week. Maybe today if we have time. So true. Stacy, what's so true? What did you, tell me what you mean. What's so true? What were you talking about that you said is so true? I'm looking for this. Forgive me, guys. I'm sorry. Grab a glass of water, a cup of coffee, and I'm going to now. Oh, right. Mother's Day's in May. Why is it not on my site? I'm finding a lot of May stuff, but not what I want to read to you. Oh God, I don't give up real easily. So those of you that know me, give me a second. The space between, no. Oh dear, this is really frustrating. One more moment. Maybe it was 2 years ago. Let me see. But I feel very, very compelled to read this to you today. For those of you that moms have passed, for those of you that maybe didn't have a good relationship or don't with your own mother, I feel this piece really healed parts of me by writing it, and most importantly, honored Terry. Yes, that's so true, Stacy. Sharing from the heart is the key to connecting to others. Thanks, Rick says, I'm about to read this blog. Maybe you can tune in later. You can find this, by the way, if you have to jump off, these videos will be on my YouTube channel as well as on Facebook. I think it saves it. I don't know. Thanks for joining. I can't find this for the life of me. I am so sorry, guys. One moment, please. It's not wanting to pop up. There's probably a reason for that. But I feel, let me hear from you all while I'm looking. Tell me, what does mother mean to you? Maybe share some experiences, maybe in the traditional sense. You know, do you feel, hey Scotty, what's it like for you to be a mother of an animal, of your work as a creator, as a writer, or as an artist, as a dancer? What does it feel when you mother something? My friend Rachel is a phenomenal, amazing math teacher. So is Robin. Caretaker. So for Robin, she said caretaker. Hey Carrie, thanks for joining Wednesday Wisdom Live. I'm so glad you're here. We're talking about motherhood and how it's not always traditional, whether that means 2 women, 2 men, whether that means mothering animals, whether that means, God forbid, we've lost a child. I, again, have a lot of experience with people very close to me that have lost a child, losing our own mothers. Mothering to me is a noun, it's a verb, it's so much more than just biologically birthing a child. So I'm trying to find something very precious to me that I want to read, that I published a year ago. And I, for the life of me, am having a tough time finding it. Let me see. Like I said, I don't give up real easily. I found Frank and Lois, A Forever Love Story. That is not it. Ay, ay, ay. Give me 1 second. Well, I don't think this wants to be read right now. I'm not sure why. Robin said a helper. Yes, totally. Hey Dee Dee, amazing mom just popped on here. Speaking of mom, she has 4 kids, one of whom is a very dear friend of mine. Thank you for being here. I'm very frustrated why I can't find this. Mother's Day is definitely in May every year, right guys? You know, yeah, Robin, can you do that for me? That would mean so much. Thank you. This is such an important, I love you too, Dee Dee. Mothering, let me tell you what people are saying. So, mothering, the gift that I have received from my mom and many others, the pay it forward that I am able to share every day as best I can. And that is beautifully said. And, you know, we often think of the sense of mother in a feminine way, but to me, teachers are mothers, dancers, any instructors. As a speech therapist, when I used to practice, all my babies, I felt like I was a mother to them. I really encourage you to expand the definition of mother, because I know lots of people, like I said, that don't have a good relationship with their mother, or they've lost their mother, like my husband and his sister and brother, and I considered her a mother to me. We're working on getting this piece because I'd really like to honor her today and read it to you. I wrote it last year. Before we get that, I will give you a brief, kind of like a 411. Hey Anna, another amazing woman just joined. Anna, we're talking about motherhood and how it is a complete sentence, in my opinion. That's what I wrote this morning. If you saw it, today's Wednesday wisdom is that motherhood is a noun, it's a verb, it's a complete sentence. And Anna, we were talking about mothering is so many different ways with animals. It's a very dynamic. I feel that motherhood, mothering, and to mother, to me, changes as we evolve, as we get older, as life's experiences sort of stack up. It shapes the lens through which we view our lives in every way. So Nikki said, a mother is a confidant, a spiritual guide, an anchor, a cheerleader. Yes, well said, Nick. Totally. And you don't have to birth a child to be that. I've had friends mother me and I've mothered them. I've had mentors that are mothers. And by the way, you know, I wonder, I just had a thought about something. So without getting into much detail, the first few people I worked for, they mothered me, but I also learned maybe from one of them, maybe not. I learned a lot about myself and who I do and don't want to be. So that's another aspect to explore in motherhood. Is it's a noun, it's a verb, it's a complete sentence. But being a mother, hey Lotus Flower, thanks for joining. Hey Carolyn. Mother Earth, mothering animals, mothering ourselves, our inner child. They're components that perhaps we're not mothered, and I'm not blaming our moms. Hey, girl. Hi, Allison. Hey, I'm so happy you're here. We're talking about motherhood today and all the different ways, traditionally, non-traditionally, mothering parents, mothering our children. And again, I really encourage you to dig deep and to honor the mother in you. And it doesn't matter if you're a male, female, your gender, your sexual preference. I encourage you to dig deep. We mother the things we create, whether we're your math teacher, a yoga instructor. We mother, for me, I mother my writing, the podcast that I create, and I'm so blessed people that are gifting me and trusting me to share their stories. We mother our friends. We mother people we perhaps mentor. So we don't have to birth a child to mother. So important. Hey, Laris. And I really want you to think about that. I know it's so hard for those of us that have lost our moms. Again, I said earlier, I'm working on finding this piece that I wrote and I posted last year. My friend Robin's going to find it and send it to me. I'm so grateful. It's on my website, but for some reason I can't locate it. I want to read it to you today. It was 20 years since my mother-in-law passed away. Her name was Terry. She really embodied mother to me. And what I mean by that is Terry mothered her clients. She was an interior decorator, but more grander expanse, quite an artist. Everything came from her heart in an almost vulnerable, soft, childlike way. We used to almost joke that no filter, yet it was so stunning. And hey, Sheldon, Ross, thanks for being here. And I learned so much from her in such a short time because she wore her heart on her sleeve, and for a lot of people that's quite uncomfortable, and she taught me vulnerability. She taught me, hey Haley, thanks for being here. She taught me it's okay to express ourselves. And Rachel said, I hate to do this. I need to be a mother to my students. And what an amazing one you are, my God. Rachel is an incredible teacher. She has to go Zoom. Happy Mother's Day to everyone. To you too, Rach. Thank you for being here. So I'm talking about Terry, and I'm hoping Robin finds it soon because I want to read you some excerpts from that. I always think about her on Mother's Day. I think about her always. I think about her when I look at hearts because she loved to love. She loved so unconditionally and fiercely to the point where some people, I think, I'm embarrassing you. I'm going to keep going. Rachel is a rock star. Rachel is one of my closest friends on the planet. Now she's exiting because I'm totally mortifying her. I'm sorry. Come back one day. I won't mention you again. Sorry. Anyway, so I'm waiting to read this excerpt to you. It's important that we honor ourselves too. So when we speak of mothering, bye, Carolyn. Thanks for being here. I'd like you to think about, thanks for being here, Stacy. I appreciate it. Hopefully you can look out for my post tomorrow. I'm writing a blog on motherhood. Another one who was quite the mother, Gloria Steinem, right? She really embodied mother, meaning mother to many. You can't find it. Isn't that weird, Rob? It popped up on my Facebook feed last week as like a memory. So this is really odd. I'm going to try one more time. Again, I don't give up so easily. I know where I will go. 1 second. I got it. So let me pause now. I'd love for you to share your definitions of motherhood and how that looks for you, whether it's traditional, whether it's your work, whether it is mothering another family member, not a child, maybe mothering your own mother. Sometimes the roles are reversed as we get older. And again, I don't want to get stuck in gender because I truly believe this far transcends being a woman. So let's think about mothering as a verb for a minute. I'm going to wait, and I'd like a few of you to comment, and I'll read your comments. So tell me how you perceive mothering and to mother. Go. I will wait to hear from you first. Thanks, Lotus. Tell me some thoughts. How do you feel about mothering, motherhood? Perhaps you could tell me about that. What are your thoughts and feelings on that? I am going to find this if it kills me, guys. Give me a second. Not if it kills me. That's terrible. I'm finding my freedom ride, which is when I first got on a bicycle last year, first time in 25 years, but that's not what I'm looking for. Ay, ay, ay. Okay, here we go. Ay, 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 ay. You know, those of you that know me well, you know I live by if it's meant to be, it just pops up. For some reason, this does not want to be read today. And I'm extremely frustrated because it feels so important to read to you. I don't know if important's the right word, relevant. And I so want to read to you about my Terry. Well, you know what I'll do? I guess I can't find it right now. So perhaps I will just tell you about her. Maybe that's what is supposed to be today. I don't know. Here's the present of presence and living with grace, which is a good topic also for motherhood. I found it. Woo! Okay. Let me first see what Dee Dee said. So Dee Dee said, motherhood cannot separate from giving birth, and if it's in the human sense, then it is specific. If it's in birthing something tangible, it can encompass your ideologies. Ooh, hey there. Thanks for joining us today. Today's topic for Wednesday Wisdom is motherhood. It's a noun, it's a verb, and it's a complete sentence. So we're talking about this, and I found what I wanted to read you. Thank you for your patience. Thanks for sticking with me. So the title of my blog a year ago was called The Present of Presence. And here we go. I wanted to honor my mother-in-law. And it's funny, I keep calling her that. Lance, what's up? Hey. We're talking about motherhood and the different definitions and traditional, non-traditional, and how we do not need to birth a child to be a mother or to mother in the verb sense. So I wrote this blog post a year ago. Hi, I'm so happy you're here. About Terry, who is a very, very special person. She, in the short 18 months I knew her, impacted my life so much, actually, that after she passed, my husband and I had kids much sooner. My whole goal in life was to be the best speech therapist and run a national organization, in addition to continuing editing books, which I was doing as well. And all of a sudden, everything came into focus, as often happens in a tragedy. Unfortunately, I know other people that have had some deep losses and sudden losses and have not learned from them. And I'm so grateful that her legacy to me and to so many others was a legacy of love, creativity, and unconditional love. And to me, that's mothering. Whether, again, it's your animal, it's your partner, it's your best friend, it's a student you teach, it's your own child. That, to me, is so key. So let me read you a bit from this. Here we go. For Mother's Day, I rarely want anything material. Although I express this annually, my family doesn't always listen to me. Yesterday they did. My kids and husband know how deeply I cherish connection, and I am grateful they honored my request to visit a place that's a sanctuary of memories. I silently thanked the sky for its baby blue canopy and scattered marshmallow clouds. My heart had yearned for this moment for years. After grabbing our water and sunscreen, the four of us walked toward the entrance of Fairchild Tropical Gardens. That's in Miami for those of you that don't live here. The camera bag, which usually weighs heavily and uncomfortably on my shoulder, seemed lighter today. A cap covered the lens, yet it was as if it peered straight through my soul. I meandered around the gift shop while my husband asked for directions to the tree. As I strode toward my misty-eyed husband, a silky shawl of love enveloped me. I felt her presence. I looked at the matte brass plaque that labeled the immense, deeply rooted tree, Terry Levan Katz. I felt embraced by Terry's presence, my husband's late mother. I stepped away to observe the beauty within this magical place. I'm referring to my husband, processing years later the finality of his mother's passing. Emotions circled us like rings on the trunk of that ancient tree. Instead of sadness, I felt her precious presence. A waft of peaceful energy whooshed into my heart. I smiled behind the camera and hoped I'd visually captured it all. How kind, how thoughtful and fitting that her friends, Terry's friends, named this tree to honor her memory. Presence is powerful. Presence is healing. Presence transcends logic and the rational mind. Yet presence is palpable. It is a reminder that there's much more we can sense with our heart than see with our eyes. And for me, the gift of one's presence is invaluable. I have been blessed to sense the presence of many who are no longer physically alive. But today, I am not only referring to the word presence in relation to those who have passed. I appreciate and I am deeply grateful for the presence of all whom I love. The present of presence, whether giving it or receiving it, is a gift. I thought so much about this blog today, and I think always about Terry. And without her, I wouldn't have my husband, my sister-in-law, my brother-in-law, and really, I wouldn't have my own children. I see so much of Terry and my daughter. They are so similar. They're both extremely artistic. My daughter, much like Terry did, wears her heart on her sleeve. She has a huge, she's like a light beam. Her eyes are green, like Terry's were. In fact, it kind of scares, it freaks us out when my daughter gets all made up. She's getting older. She'll be 16 in August. It's actually striking, the similarity. Hey, oh, another amazing mom just joined. Hi, Rachel. Rachel, I just read my blog from last year about Terry. Rachel was part of that time. Hi, Jeremy, when Terry passed 6 months before our wedding, suddenly. And I always honor her, not just on Mother's Day, but when we do some kind of decor, every major milestone. She's supposed to be here. My son's graduating in a couple of weeks. So it hurts because we've had many losses, but this was one of the tougher ones. And even though it's been 20 years, it feels like it was yesterday. So what I was talking about was how grateful I am also for how much love she gave to my husband and he gives to our children, how much love she gave to me. To know her for the 18 months I knew her was to know her for a lifetime, because she had a childlike openness about her. And in fact, when I wrote that piece and when I wrote what I'm sharing tomorrow, and the pieces that I find that are harder to access my heart to, oh God, I didn't expect to get so emotional. As all writers know, and all creators, and that, is to be vulnerable is to really connect the most with people and to share. And I'm so much better being the listener. That's why I love doing my podcasts. And when I was a journalist, I loved reporting. For me to share from here outward, I'm better at going from here and giving. Oh, how beautiful. Thank you, Jeff knew Terry as well. Thanks for the reminders about Terry. She was one of a kind as Miss Greatly. Yes. Very much so. Thank you for saying that, and thank you for joining. And I'm so glad you tuned into this particular Wednesday Wisdom. And I feel her. I know that sounds wonky. Any of you that know me well. I'm very connected to my spirit. I'm getting more comfortable sharing about that. It's very personal. I'm a deeply spiritual woman, and I don't mean that in a religious sense. but I felt very nudged, and it felt very important to share her today. I constantly talk about her with my children. It's too painful, I think, for my husband to talk about her. But let's learn from Terry and Grandma Pearl, both of whom gave love unconditionally. And when I mean unconditionally, with such passion in such different ways. I've had and do have people in my life, my own mother, from whom I've learned a good work ethic. I've also learned from my mother how important it is to put your marriage first. I put my husband before my kids. My kids know that. That's not meaning that my kids are not my priority. They are. But I've always been of the belief that motherhood is part of who I am. It's a huge part of who I am. But I'm not only mother. I am a writer, I'm a creator, I'm a connector, I'm a friend, I'm a cousin. I feel that motherhood is so all-encompassing, and I feel that we can learn from those that have passed, like Terry, like Grandma Pearl, like my Grandma Miriam, who, gosh, boy, would I love to talk to her today. She was one of the most nurturing. She really embodied, when we talk more traditional mother, my grandmother, I think she would have had 50 children if she could have. She just emoted and beamed such love from every ounce, like every cell in her being. And so it's funny because my mother often says that I'm much more like my grandmother than I am like my own mother. And I agree. And that's not anything negative, but just, I don't know if it skipped a generation, but I'm very sensitive. I remember my grandmother, gosh, even when I was 5 years old, I used to sleep there every weekend. She too was a very spiritual woman, and I didn't understand as a little girl. She would light candles on Friday nights and do this, and she would cry. And I used to think, why is she so sad? Well, now on Friday nights, we light the candles in our home with our children, and I often get misty-eyed as well because the beauty of the flickering of the presence, like I just read the blog to you about being present, and there's such a gift in being present. That's a big part of what Every Soul Has a Story is about. Hello. Oh, hey Zane, I'm so glad you're here. We're talking about motherhood and mothering, and sorry to repeat myself for those of you that have already been on for a while. Hey Nicole, hey there. We're talking about today's Wednesday Wisdom topic and what I wrote and shared. Mark Glassman, what's up? Hey. Wow. Thank you for being here. So we're talking about motherhood, mothering, and I was talking about Terry, my mother-in-law, or it was before we got married, and how much I love her. She embodied motherhood. She loved so deeply, unconditionally. She was a beautiful soul. My Grandma Pearl, my Grandma Miriam, and I was also saying all the things I've learned from my own mother, that many of us have lost our parents, or maybe some people don't have a good relationship with your parents. And so today we're talking about motherhood, which I wrote in my blog, and I will post early tomorrow morning and mail it to all of my subscribers. If you don't already subscribe, please subscribe. Like I've been writing and sending inspirational emails for 3 years, since 2017. We also added now a podcast. I'm actually releasing another one next week. You can check that out on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, and on my website. So basically all platforms. It's at daralevan.com. Hey, Jamie. I really appreciate you all being here today. So what I wrote this morning and posted for our Wednesday Wisdom connection is that mothering, it's a complete sentence. Mother is a complete sentence. It's a noun, it's a verb, and it encompasses so much. It's not just biologically birthing a mother. For me, my writing, the books I'm working on, those are my babies. So I'm so blessed to have 2 children. They are the loves of my life. They're my greatest teachers. But my writing is also, I mother my writing. That when I had children I work with for speech therapy, I mothered them in a sense. I have mentors in my life. I'm so blessed that have been mothers to me and are still mothers to me. I've learned so much from. So to me, we were talking earlier about non-traditional motherhood as well. I have friends that either it's 2 men or 2 women, they're creating a family and they're mothering as well. So it doesn't have to just be a woman. And Mother Earth and mothering our fur babies. My Rocky and my Izzy, I know most of you know how much I talk about them. They're so important to me, and they've taught me so much. So, mothering can go both ways too, right? And I just felt it was so important to read to you that piece I wrote about Terry, who is my husband's mother and my brother-in-law and sister-in-law. And it's not how long you know someone, whether we're talking on motherhood in general or mothering or just even a connection, which is what Every Soul Has a Story is about. Hey, Al. So connection is so important. So connection through mothering, through motherhood, connection with self. Sometimes we have to mother our own wounds, which again I wrote about for tomorrow. So I hope you'll join me and read that. And I really challenge you this Mother's Day. There's people that have lost their children. I know many. Sadly, my mom, she lost 2 brothers when I was only 5 months old. So my grandmother had 2 children she lost within a very short period. That's not supposed to happen. That's not right. But we also can honor the time we have with them. We can honor who were we to them. What did we learn from them? So I'd like you to look at motherhood going in multiple directions. It's like a prism, right? Like a rainbow prism. We talk about rainbows a lot, and I haven't talked about the rainbow connection. And not Kermit the Frog. I'm not going to sing, and I'm not going to torture you guys. But the rainbow for me, as you heard, I didn't mention the blog in my blog from last year I read to you. The rainbow is about Terry. So the day of her funeral, we were all driving to the cemetery, and the most glorious rainbow that I have ever seen to this day. I don't have to tell you all the emotions and the people in the car, and that's very private, which I won't share because that's not my stuff to share. But what is I was saying to my husband, and I think it was my sister-in-law and my brother-in-law to my left, that I will always remember her in beauty. Flowers were so important to her beauty. She gave so unconditionally from her heart to so many people. She was mother to stepchildren. She was mother to me. She was mother to her own children. She was mother to all of her clients. She was such a talented interior designer, but with such love. Her love, it was so pure and real and authentic. Oh, thank you, Rachel. Rachel said, I'm so happy I had the fortune to know Terry. I am too, Rachel. And thank you for being part of all of that. I remember how supportive you were during that time. So this rainbow, I said to my husband, I said, honey, anytime I see something beautiful in nature, I'll think of your mother. And so this rainbow comes across the sky. I'm not kidding. It was like a circle. It was like something I have never this day seen. In the midst of our tears, our shock, like I said, it was a sudden accident. It's really hard to process. I've lost people to cancer and other illnesses, and there's no comparing. It's horrible. Any loss at any age is tragic, painful, and we can't compare. But to get a sudden phone call, I will tell you, if any of you have gone through that, there's nothing like it. There's no time to prepare, to process. It's like I'm still digesting it. I know our whole family is. But thankfully, we can now focus more on the rainbow. So I talk about her all the time. My kids know who she is, my friends. And this rainbow, I went off topic. This rainbow is the most gorgeous. I mean, it almost looked like a circle. And you'll see it on my website. The rainbow has become so significant in my life because of Terry. And I said to my husband in that moment, every time we see a rainbow, I'm going to think of your mom. God's honest truth. The night before I gave birth to my son, there was a rainbow in the sky. And I have it in a journal. I said, that's you, Terry. I think I'm going to give birth tomorrow. And I did. And it was early, by the way. So it wasn't even my exact due date. My husband threw me a surprise 35th birthday party. Huge rainbow in the sky, double rainbow over our house. When I had my second child, my brother-in-law got married in New York. And I remember my husband called me crying I couldn't go because my daughter was only 2 days old. It was horrible. It was so painful to not be there to celebrate with them. And huge, huge rainbow in New York over the sky. Every single year around my birthday and my husband's birthday, every year there's a rainbow. It has been 20 years of rainbows, and I'm so blessed to have her visit us in this way. It's beautiful, it's uplifting, and it's so her because she was all about art and love and kindness, and I'm so grateful that that is how she visits. Dragonflies for me are visits from our Grandma Pearl. I have several other things, and I write about these things frequently, so you can check it out if you want to go back a few years, if you're bored, I don't know. And I'll continue to write about visits. So I'm hoping for a rainbow. Terry, if you're listening, I'm looking for one. I need one this week. She just comes at the right time, and that's why the rainbow's on my website. That's why you hear me talk about rainbows a lot. It's amazing. When her mother passed, our husband's grandma Bernice, there was a rainbow at the Shiva. Or not at the Shiva, I'm sorry. There was a rainbow sometime that week, but it's so clear. And I know it might sound a little woo-woo for those of you that are more like science-based, and I am, by the way, which is so funny, right? I love science. I got my master's in speech therapy. I love the brain. Hi. But when you have these experiences that are so life-altering, when you lose someone suddenly like we have, I've had so many other experiences I don't want to discuss today. I write about it, and some podcasts in the future will be talking about some of these other experiences. I believe spirituality is a very personal thing. I don't think you need to broadcast it. So I feel that whatever is salient for you, whatever talks to your soul, to your spirit, I do believe we are visited. I will tell you a quick sidebar story. When I was about 13 years old, I was in camp at Interlochen Arts Camp in Michigan, and I had this sudden sense come over me. I've never talked about this publicly, but here we go. And I was a little girl. I was 13. What do I know? Didn't grow up in a religious house, not much at all. So we're not talking about religion here, just to be clear. I just had a bad feeling come over me, and I knew. I called home 2 days later, and before my parents even acknowledged it, I said, "Did Grandpa die?" And he did. So when I talked about the present in presence, which was the title of the blog I wrote last year about Terry and about being present, it's not about religion. It doesn't matter what you believe in. You can even be completely agnostic. I believe that when we get present with ourselves, when we quiet the mind, the messages come in. And so whether that's a visit of someone that has passed, for me it's often I get inspired to write in that way. For years, when I was an arts reporter 20 years ago, I've been writing since I could speak, which for those of you that know me, probably since I was in my mother's uterus, speaking of motherhood. But that's the way I like to connect with people, is through words, through now the spoken word also. And I'm so grateful for all of you that have showed up here, and I feel you're showing up for yourselves by being here, and I really appreciate all of you. It means so much. And again, for those of you that just joined, I see little things popping up, but I'm not seeing everybody's names. We're talking today about motherhood, and today's Wednesday wisdom quote that I wrote and put on social media today is called "Mother, a noun, a verb, a complete sentence." And isn't it though? So I encourage you to pursue and think about and take some time to get present with yourself, to really give it thought and honoring people in your life that are mother to you. We don't have to have a child to be a mother. We mother each other. Hey, that's a quick little silly poem. Mother each other. Okay, that's horrible. Sorry, guys. But I'm so blessed. There's somebody in my life, or several people, who are mother to me, whether it's with my writing and the books I'm creating, whether it's the podcasts, my weekly blogs that I've been sending since 2017, and inspirational messages. I also Mother Earth, right? I mean, look what's happening now. It's another silver lining, another rainbow. When we talk about rainbows in this corona crisis and the craziness that's going on in our world, our oceans are cleaner. I had someone this morning tell me that he noticed that the trees are greener. And he said, "Do you think I'm crazy?" I said, "I do think you're crazy, but not because of that." I noticed, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, I'm noticing birds that I've never seen before, and I'm very tuned into nature. That's how I personally meditate. You can check out my YouTube channel that I started a while ago. All of my nature meditation videos are on there. I've been doing that for over 2 decades, and my husband's been encouraging me over and over. He's like, "Honey, you got to do something with this. I usually just send it to friends and family, like if I'm in the snow or I'm in the fall. I take these videos that I just feel very nourishing and calming for me. And when I send it to people, they say they love it and it's so calming and uplifting. So I decided to put that on my YouTube channel. So I hope you can connect with that and it resonates for you. And if you're having a tough day and you just need some love, that's from my heart to yours. So I don't know, what else have you noticed? Oh, speaking of birds. So I'm looking outside earlier. This is just the sweetest thing. They're the cutest little ducklings, and they grow up so quickly. Not like our own children, our own, as humans. It's wild. I swear they were like this big. I mean, I could hold it in my hand, and they look like teenagers already. Thank God that's not the case for my kids, because I'm not ready for them to grow up in like 5 minutes. Although it already feels that way. My son just turned 18. My daughter's 16 in August. Whew, it's like, but I feel for these ducks and their ducklings. I mean, they have to send them off into the world so quickly. And it's amazing. I'm seeing different types of birds I've never seen before. And it's really something, It's been really neat. So I hope you're noticing the beauty, the mothering and motherhood that is occurring all around us. It's so beautiful. It's so nourishing. To me also, motherhood is about showing up for people, caring enough to say, I see you, I hear you, I get you, and if I don't get you, how can I learn? How can I be a better person and be here for you? So to me, that's mothering and motherhood too. There's a couple men, I just saw it, now some people are popping in here. Anthony Abate, hey, thank you for being here, that's just awesome. And some other men I saw on the Instagram, and I can't follow all of it right now, sorry guys. So if I'm missing anybody, I'm not calling you out, I apologize. I just saw Allison's here and Kathy, thank you so much. And so let's not just be gender specific when we talk about motherhood. Motherhood is an act. It's giving from the heart. Leslie, oh my God, hey, talk about an amazing mom. So Leslie, we were talking about mother is a complete sentence. It's a noun, it's a verb. And so Leslie does some really, really interesting work. And she is mothering with her work in a national way. So I was saying, Leslie, and anyone that just joined us, my writing, the books I'm working on, my weekly blog I've been writing for a couple of years, 3 years now, and now my podcast and the nature meditations that I've included on my YouTube channel, all of that to me is mothering. For me, I hope that if I could even impact one life, that I feel that I've made some sort of connection. And that's what life's about, and that's what every soul has a story is about, is connection and compassion and authentic communication and really connecting at a really honest heart level. I don't care about glossy. You guys can come on here. You can swear. You can show up in your pajamas. I'm keeping it real. This is not, in fact, it's the first time I put makeup on in weeks. I felt like, hey, it's Mother's Day. We're discussing motherhood. Maybe I'll do something here. But I washed my hair, which is big. But I didn't blow dry it. I just worked out and whatever. Take me as I am, baby. Here I am. Love it or leave it. And I'd like to hear from you. I'm going to pause now. Andy, what's up? Hey. So we have a lot of men on here today, which is actually really neat. We're talking about motherhood, Andy, and how, in my mind, it's a very vast, I'm sorry you missed this. I read about Jarrett's mom, my husband, blog that I'd written a year ago to honor her. I think about her so much this time of year, and it's actually every day, to be honest. But thinking about all these different influences in our lives, I also know mothers and women, men, whether it was somebody I work for, whether it's a family member, whether it's a friend, whether it's someone who's just a colleague or an acquaintance in the community. For me, motherhood is also realizing and owning and understanding that which I don't want to be also. I've learned a lot from those around me and in my life, whether it's briefly, whether it's for many years, about who I don't want to be also. And so, it's this beautiful tapestry, right? If you think of a needle point, every stitch in there, every thread that makes up the tapestry of our soul. So that who we are and choose to become, we have to leave some pieces behind. Sometimes we have to snip a thread, right? So I think you have to mother yourself too. And I talk about that tomorrow in my blog that I'll share both on Facebook, and anyone that subscribes will receive that as always in your inbox. If you don't subscribe, I'd encourage you to please go to daralevan.com, because my subscribers get more than just the blog. I always include some photography. That's one of my passions as well. Just do it for fun. But again, nature as usual. It's always nature. Or check out my YouTube channel. Oh my gosh, hey, my cousin Marlene is here. Oh, how neat. Thank you for being here. Thanks, Lance. So good to see you too. We still have to have coffee. I'm going to call you soon, okay? Cousin Marlene, she's all the way in, where are you? Massachusetts. So we have people from all over the country again, which is so special. And let me see what Dee Dee said. I like to think about motherhood as connection, absolutely. The feminine presence of God. It has a real connection to me with being a mother. You know, it's important too, and no judgment. However you perceive, interpret, whatever is meaningful for you, that's what's so important here. And with a lot of my writing and what I talk about is connection, is intention, is authenticity and integrity. That's so part of my movement with Every Soul Has a Story. And I'm calling it a movement now because it's not just a blog or a weekly email, which I've really enjoyed, but I've had friends and mentors and family say, Dara, you got to expand this. And that's why we're doing podcasts. I'm releasing 1 or 2 a month. I have some amazingly interesting people. I don't know if you listened yet to the first few. There's Joe and Winnie. There's Shannon Horry, who's a really well-known and well-established and inspiring woman. She's a news anchor, but she shares really deeply about her near-death experience with her son. It was really scary. And my latest one was Randy Schwartz. She's an extraordinary, oh my God, she's a mindfulness coach. She's a cancer thriver. Check it out. And releasing another one early next week that I think a lot of you will like. Her name is Ronnie, and she's a nutritionist, and she talks about emotional eating and a lot more during the time we're in. So I think we could probably all relate. Yeah, Jonathan, you're here. My gosh, you missed it. Okay, bring on the commentary. So my buddy Jonathan, we're talking about motherhood, and in the traditional and non-traditional, whether it's 2 men, 2 women, whether you don't have a child at all and your child is your work. Like I've been saying, I think ad nauseum, so my apologies, but I'm so passionate about my work and hopefully impacting people through words, through my blogs, podcasts, and my books that will be forthcoming soon. And I really encourage you this Mother's Day and always to expand your view and the lens through which you look regarding motherhood. I encourage you, no matter what you think of it, wherever you celebrate, if you have kids, if you don't, if you have fur babies and animals, if you don't have animals or children, I really encourage you to look, Jonathan, oh God. I encourage you to look within your own soul and to pause and be present, like I read about in the blog from last year. However that looks for you. I send you love from my heart to yours. Thank you for those of you who have been mothers to me, whether it's intentionally, unintentionally, directly or indirectly. I honor you. I thank you. I am grateful for you. And I wish you a happy Mother's Day, however that looks for you. I hope to hear from you soon. Please email me at dara@everysoulhasastory.com. I'd love to hear from you, and look out for the rest of the week. We'll be posting and sharing some really special things from now through Sunday. From my heart to yours, thank you so much again for joining Wednesday Wisdom Live. Hugging you from here.